Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Caffe, Lena. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you to everybody who is tuning in from home. We have such a special show for you this evening. As you all know, this is the 1-year anniversary of the Capitol riots, so we thought, to kind of fight all of the hate that is out there, we should bring together two amazing songwriters who have dedicated their careers and their work to lifting people up and bringing people together and just highlighting all of the wonderful things that are out there in the world. So we are so excited to have Chris Matthews and Jencks here tonight. It's going to be a really special show, so let's give them a very warm welcome.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here this evening. Thanks to those of you joining us in person, to those of you joining us online. Always a pleasure to be here at Caffe Lena, and especially this evening. It's interesting times that we live in. That's a curse in Chinese. May you live in interesting times. And we certainly live in interesting times, but I don't think that needs to be a curse. I think we get to be a part of defining what interesting is. And I'm so pleased to be here with a colleague that I respect so deeply for her music, for her thoughtfulness, for her healing, for her willingness to speak truth when it needs to be spoken, and to do so in a way that is deeply invitational, inviting all of us into being present in the world just a little bit differently. Chris Matthews, please give her a hand. I'm going to kick us off with a song that's a little bit invitational, and one that's become a bit of a theme song for me, one that I sing at the beginning of many shows. And it's a song that I wrote in the morning that Pete Seeger passed away. It's called Let Me Sing You a Song. And many of you know this. Please feel free to sing along at home as loudly as you want. You will bother no one as you sing loudly from home. Those of you in the room, you are welcome to join humming along while still staying masked, but we ask you to sing, at least, to the best of your ability, in tune with the person next to you, That helps us, but... Asked me here to tell you about my neighbors and my friends, to talk about the who and what, the where and how and when. But I won't give you anything you don't already know. But if you'd like, I'll sing that list of songs before I go. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Well, you say it's un-American to do the things I do. Well, I sing for justice, liberty, and civil rights, it's true. But I say it's un-American to ask me how I vote, how I pray, or what I believe. But here's a song I wrote. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Well, if you want to send me to prison, I guess that's the way it'll be. 'Cause I won't give you fodder for your paranoid machine. If the price of my silence is shackles, well then fellas, take me away. For I will live to sing again and rise with a brand new day. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. La da 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 da, that's your part, it's easy. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da, la da da da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da, la da 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 da. Let me sing you a song. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket line, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Yes, the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night.
I've traveled all across this land, up the Gold Coast and back home again. Found common ground around every bend, and far fewer strangers than I've found friends. A little princess drawing at breakfast with wonder in her eyes, an immigrant on the phone with her abuela saying goodbye. Planes and trains and buses too, no us and them, just me and you. And every person's like a book with a story yet to tell, a hidden gem buried deep within the depths of their well. Hello, how's it going? How's your journey been so far? It's nice to meet you, nice to meet you, exactly where you are. I've been from sea to shining sea, from Mendocino to Carolina Beach, and what I found town after town is folks getting right back up when life knocks them down. A sweet widow from Ohio who still sings with every track, a rambling man with his whole life packed upon his tired back. Planes and trains and buses too, no us and them, just me and you. And every person's like a book with a story yet to tell, a hidden gem buried deep within the depths of their well. Hello, how's it going? How's your journey been so far? It's nice to meet you, exactly where you are. As I've journeyed far and wide, I've tried to reach out across the great divide, across those knowns and those unknowns that keep us in opposing corners so alone. This or that, insert whatever social construct that you like. I hope all our better angels take the wheel for a while. Planes and trains and buses too. No us and them, just me and you. Just me and you. Just me and you, yeah. Just me and you, yeah. And every person's like a book with a story yet to tell, a hidden gem buried deep within the depths of their well. Hello, how's it going? How's your journey been so far? It's nice to meet you, exactly, exactly, exactly where you are.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
I want to share with you some words that were spoken a year ago tonight by Senator Mitt Romney. We gather today due to the selfish man's injured pride and the outrage of his supporters, whom he has deliberately misinformed for the past 2 months and stirred to action this very morning. What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy. They will be remembered for their role in this shameful episode in American history. He went on to say later in the evening, to describe what it was like for him as a U.S. Senator, as a patriot, to watch someone lower the flag of the United States of America and replace it with a campaign flag from an individual candidate's campaign. And he referred to it as an act of treason. I think that is absolutely true. And yet we still live in a country where we need to reach across the divides. We need to find a common way forward or fracture into countless pieces. And I think sometimes that begins with the idea of mercy.
My most melody and all it could do with love and words. I used to admire most a poet who with the pen untangled this world into verse. I used to admire all that I thought profound, a place age arise the prophets and the saints. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Well, I waited out my no youth for a father's spectacle, in lines snaking round coliseums. Well, I marched in the drench under fame's soft fist clenched, and I paid hard-earned money just to see him. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. I admire the pure of heart that will one thing. I admire the steady in their routine. I admire decision and the mind that endures it, and those who speak though they be shamed. I admire the reckless voices for the voiceless, and the man standing in the path of tanks. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy.
Well, it's such an honor to get to share a stage with this awesome guy over here, especially on a day like today. Thank you all so much for being here with us and holding space to remember what it is that we lived through that particular day. I was actually in the studio in D.C., right outside of D.C. in Bethesda. D.C. is home for me, and so I remember being in the studio and getting the phone call that we needed to get home right away because we were being put under curfew because our capital was under attack. It was so surreal. This is a song that was written specifically for the frontline workers who have given us so much amidst this pandemic. To think that this all happened while we were in the middle of a global pandemic, as if we didn't have enough on our plate at that time to also have an insurrection to deal with. But watching the bravery and the heroics of so many different facets of people who tried to help keep us safe, who helped try to keep our democracy safe. This is for them tonight. This is called Selfless.
We measure years in terms of seasons, how much darkness each day brings. But this year has been a hard one. It's felt like winter since last spring. But it's on the darkest nights that the stars that guide us shine. And in life, that's when you find out who will lay it all on the line. He was a doctor, son and father, a lover and a friend. His job was like his calling, not a clock punch to pay the rent. He treated every patient like he would his mom his kids. And when his lover asked, was he scared, he said, baby, I was born for this. Oh, selfless is as selfless does. Some give it all just because. And in times like these, when the sorrow's falling like the leaves, when the storm is more than a storm, heroes come in many forms. She couldn't see behind his mask, just the kindness in his eyes. And before she even asked, he said she was gonna be alright. 'Cause it's on the darkest nights that the stars that guide us shine. And in life, that's when you find out who will lay it all on the line. Well, he was right, she didn't recover. And one day when she was home, she saw an obit in the paper, and those kind eyes she'd come to know. She never got the chance to thank him, but she knew he saved her life. And with tears running down her face, she said there is no greater sacrifice. Oh, selfless is as selfless does. Some give it all just because. And in times like these, when the sorrow's falling like the leaves, when the storm is more than a storm, heroes come in many forms. Not all heroes wear capes or costumes. Not the person teaching your kids. Not the nurse sitting in your mom's room. Not the frontline worker taking so many risks. But selfless is as selfless does. Some give it all just because. And in times like these, when the sorrow's falling like the leaves, when the storm is more than a storm, heroes come. Heroes come in many forms.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks.
Amidst all of this, it's easy to forget between the pandemic and the political chaos, there are a whole lot of good, hardworking people, people like what Chris was just singing about, that have continued to do their jobs. You know, sanitation workers and school workers and nurses and doctors and what we call essential workers. In my opinion, most workers are essential workers. I mean, it takes all of us to keep things moving, and we've seen that. And so many people have realized that they can get by on one less income in a household and have more time. And people are leaving the workforce because they don't feel respected in the workplace, and they realize that it just isn't worth the money to miss that time. We've all had an opportunity to spend more time with a much smaller number of people during the pandemic, but it's been an awakening for many of us. Chris and I have discovered that we don't have to travel quite as many tens of thousands of miles every year, that we can sit in our home studios and make music, and you keep showing up. And it's always a privilege to come to a place like Caffe Lena, and specifically Caffe Lena. But we've also discovered that our commute can be 5 minutes as we walk downstairs and 5 minutes as we go back upstairs.
That's it, just get the bedroom slippers.
You know. But there are a whole lot of people that can't do what we've been privileged to do, which is work from home. There are a whole lot of people that have had to keep going into the world in spite of the risks. And this is a song I wrote for school workers in Ashtabula County, Ohio. It's called Rise as One, but it feels especially appropriate right now for so many other workers who have just strapped on a mask and said, okay, I got a job to do. I'm going to go do it. And we need to keep working for their rights in the workplace and their respect of their dignity as workers. So this is called Rise as One.
Well, it is we who serve the lunches, we who sweep the floors, we who drive the buses with your children off to school. We keep the buildings warm in winter and cool when it's hot, and we will not let you play us for the fool. When we ask for better health care or an increase in our wage, you tell us that the township can't afford to pay the bill, but you found $500,000 from within those very coffers to try and break the union's back and break our will. And we will never give up, we will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. We believe in education and the future of our town, and the children that we serve from day to day.
I just left a lyric laying somewhere out on the Northway, so I'm going to go back and pick it up.
We believe in education and the future of our town, and the children that we serve from day to day.
It's there somewhere.
God knows we do it for the love, not for the pay. But we have worked as hard as any for every inch of ground that we've gained in the struggle for our rights. And we will not stand by idly as you try to tear us down. If we have to, we will organize a strike. We'll never give up, and we will never give up. We will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. Well, we didn't have a penny in the strike fund, sad but true, that made us all a little bit afraid. But the call went out to every other union in the state, and somehow all the workers' bills were paid. You see, this isn't just our struggle, and it isn't just our jobs, and it isn't just the schools within our town. When we dare to raise our voice in solidarity, we stand with every other worker all the world around. Will never give up, and we will never give up. We will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. held a rally at the fairgrounds to show 'em our resolve, drum up some support for our campaign. 1,000 people hit the streets, that's more than half our town. And after that, you know, things couldn't be the same. Well, whoever would have guessed it when this whole thing began? We'd have the strength to hold out for so long. But 3 months have now gone by, and the school board just gave in on their demands. Now we can sing our victory song, we'll never give up. And we will never give up, we will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one, never give up. We will never give up, we will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. We will work till all workers rise as one.
Yeah, I was telling Joe when I found out I was going to have the immense pleasure and privilege of sharing this evening on the stage with him, I was listening to the album Rise as One, and it made me smile a little bit because there's a lyric in one of my songs that says that, and I think I'm definitely going to sing that now. That's the thing that we find ourselves in, the thing that's so, I think, important about taking in the full scope of why today is so important. You know, the will of the people was expressed, and the will of the people was met with resistance. And the collective things that so many people got out and voted for in that particular election that they were trying without success to steal. There were so many issues, so many things that people were fighting so fervently for that they went out and voted for. And one of the biggest forces that mobilized in that last election was the workers, the unions. Amazing. So this song is for them. This is a song that I wrote for the Working Families Party. And there's a quote in there, it references Dr. King's quote that says, "We need to transform thin paper into thick action." And that's a thing that we need to do so much more of. So this is called Rising Tides.
A better life for his kids and his wife. That's why he works so hard. Night after night, it's not dignified. It barely keeps on the lights. If only he had workers' rights. If only he could organize. There's a gap in between the riches built upon his people's backs and the poverty in which he finds himself entrapped. They say rising tides lift all boats. Where's my brother's helping hand when he needs it most? If we want to rise as one and change is ever gonna come, we better transform thin paper into thick action. So come alive, brother, come alive. No more barely getting by. I want you to thrive. A single mom with a daughter and a son, that's why she keeps 3 jobs. Works her fingers to the bone, she barely makes enough. But when her daughter grows up, maybe then there'll be equal funds for all the equal work she does. When the ladder of opportunity was built for someone else, it should come as no surprise when women need a little help. They say rising tides lift all boats, but where's my sister's helping hand when she needs it most? If we won't arise as one. If change is ever gonna come, we better transform thin paper into think action. So come alive, sister, come alive. No more barely getting by. I want you to thrive. Another chance to stand where we should, nation to nation, united for good to protect the earth, the air, the ocean, and woods. If history's taught us anything, it's that we share the same blood. Undervalued, underestimated, standing unafraid family, we've got work to do. Despite the progress we've made, rising tides lift all boats. We can be that helping hand for those who need it most. If we won't arise as one, if change is ever gonna come, we better transform thin paper into think action. So come alive, family, come alive. No more barely getting by. I want you to thrive. Won't arise as one. If change is ever gonna come, we better transform the thin paper into big action. So come alive, family, come alive. No more barely getting by. I want you to thrive. I want you to thrive, thrive, thrive.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much.
There's a woman running in my hometown for county clerk in DeKalb, Illinois, Lynn Wynn. And I heard her say at a voting rights rally something that really struck me. She said, if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to take it from you. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to prevent you from voting. And that really struck me. Just yesterday, Merrick Garland, who, in my opinion, should be on the Supreme Court, but that's a whole other, that's a whole other matter. He said this: we must protect the cornerstone of our democracy, the right of eligible citizens to cast a vote that counts. In a democracy, people must not employ violence or unlawful threats of violence to affect that outcome. For American democracy to endure, we must demand that our leaders and candidates uphold the ideals of freedom and adhere to high standards of conduct. And I'm going to sing a song about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King that I wrote on the 50th anniversary of his assassination. And I woke up that morning at a retreat center in North Carolina at the Mountain, a Unitarian retreat center down there not far from Asheville. And the song just downloaded out of the sky. But I realized that so many people focus on what happened for King in his 20s and 30s, and they miss that this was a young man who was fired up from the very beginning. He was passionate. He was challenging his Sunday school teachers about the meaning of Scripture when he was a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. He encountered the rough edge of racism and segregation at age 6 when his best friend, who was white, went off to one public school and he went to a different school, and his best friend wouldn't be his friend anymore because he had learned through the public education in Atlanta a very different kind of way of thinking about other human beings. And that broke Martin's heart in a huge way, and he vowed as a 6-year-old that he was going to make a difference. Age 6.
January 15, 1929, born in the city of Atlanta. Just another preacher's kid singing in the choir. This kid had a vision, reached for something higher. 6 years old when segregation put him in his place. Started school and lost his childhood friends. Questioning the order of society and faith. Many deeper truths which one cannot escape. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep holding on to what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Booker T. Washington High School was the place. He began to raise his voice on poverty and race. Headed off to Morehouse, a 15-year-old sage, chasing dreams of dignity beyond his youthful age. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep speaking up for what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Studying the sacred word challenged him to grow. Headed for Montgomery, toward a fate he could not know. City bosses, boycotts, peaceful marches in the street. A bomb thrown through a window, crown of thorns laid at his feet. Albany to Birmingham, St. Augustine to Selma, Boston, New York City, Chicago and D.C., carrying the burden and the banner of equality till 1968, April 4th, Memphis, Tennessee. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
So gorgeous. Well, this is always such a treat. You know, you're just having so much fun just listening to another songwriter you admire so much. It's so great just to be listening to Joe. I think keeping with that vein, one of my favorite Dr. King quotes talks about extremism, and it says, the question is not whether or not we will be extremists, but what type of extremists will we be? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice, or will we be extremists for the extension of justice? That's one of my favorite quotes of his. This song is kind of about that. This is a song that was based off of an old freedom song written by a woman named Roberta Slavitt. And the first time I heard that song, I didn't realize how old it was because it felt like somebody was just kind of watching the news and wrote it. But it was over half a century old. And so I took that song and put some contemporary lyrics to it. And the folks who managed Miss Slavitt's catalog felt like it was relevant enough to be released under this new title. So this song is called We Must Be Free. And this is one of those songs that this particular preacher's kid, it's always nice for me when I'm singing in community. That's how I got introduced to music, singing in my family's church. And so it always feels like home to be singing with folks. So I hope that those of you who are so inclined will sing the word freedom with us. Because I grew up in the AME church, 4-part harmony is always appreciated, but it is not required. But we definitely want to get some soul claps on 2 and 4. So if you're nervous about that or not sure where that falls, just keep an eye on my feet. And you can sit this first little part out.
They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. Oh Lord, we've struggled so long, we must be free. We must be free. Black lives matter, oh yes they do. And yes, of course, all lives do too. But they don't see me the way they see you. You reach for your ID, they smile. I reach for mine, they shoot. They say that freedom is a constant crying. They say that freedom is a constant crying. They say that freedom is a constant crying. Oh Lord, we've cried so long, we must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter, why can't you see? What makes you less afraid of them than you are of us, than you are of me? Protect and serve us, not kill and hurt us. Oh Lord, how many black lives will it take before that thin blue line turns purple? They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. Oh Lord, we've sorrowed so long, we must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter, both young and old. So many names on my heart and so many stories yet untold. When will it end, Lord? When will it end? Tell me, why does it feel like it's 1968 all over again? They say that freedom is a constant moaning. They say that freedom is a constant moaning. They say that freedom is a constant moan. Oh Lord, we've moaned so long, we must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter, don't you turn away. Oh, rise up, call out injustice, say their names. I'm no safer, no, not at all. It could just as well be my name that's the next one on the wall. They say that freedom is a constant dying. They say that freedom is a constant dying. They say that freedom is a constant dying. Oh Lord, Lord, we've died so long. We must be free.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks.
I was hiking around the mountains in North Carolina. Different trip to North Carolina, but apparently North Carolina is good for my songwriting.
I mean, I can't complain. It's my home state, so yeah.
And then this song came to me in the spirit of a lot of those songs that come out of the AME churches. And I started thinking about Moses and thinking about us as the ancient Israelites wandering in the desert, which is not hard to imagine, actually. We do seem a bit lost at times.
Yes, we do.
And just, the artist in me, the writer in me can't help but reach for allegorical meaning. And this song emerged. It's called Where Are You, Moses?
Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home.
Sing it with me.
Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. Children all are hungry, no food for them to eat. Wandering through this desert, Lord, no shoes upon their feet. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. You said when we left Egypt, you and God had worked it out to lead us to a promised land. You said there was no doubt. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. People carve their idols to worship and to keep. With greed and lust and hatred, Lord, they dig their graves so deep. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Many tribes and nations searching for the light, and each one has an answer, Lord. Each one thinks they're right. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. I said, come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. I said, come down from that mountain, Moses, and lead your children home.
So great. It's so great to sing with you, Joe. This is balm for us as well. It's like you're carrying that heavy load of being a social justice songwriter in this particular time in America, and so you're leaving a lot out there on the proverbial battlefield, and it's just such a balm to get to be with you tonight and be hearing your beautiful songs.
Well, I'll add that Chris and I have had the privilege of doing at least 6 online engagements in which we were sharing time as part of online festivals and events. So we've been seeing each other from each other's studios through cameras this whole time, and it's just great to be in the same place and actually sing real time.
Yes, indeed.
I've been singing with you on these songs, but you couldn't hear me.
Exactly. Well, I think I want to sing the title track for the album that I released in the middle of the pandemic, which, if any songwriters are here, I don't recommend doing that if you can avoid it. But thankfully, the army of lovers, as I call them, in my corner felt like these songs were important enough to not wait. And so they made sure that we actually got to release them. And one of those people actually was this handsome devil right here. It's always incredible when other songwriters help lift up other songwriters, so that meant the world to me, Joe. And there are parts of the song that thankfully aren't as relevant anymore. I'm very happy about that. But just like with this day in particular, it's so important not to forget a history. Because if we do, we'll repeat it again and again and again. The song is called Changemakers. Sitting alone in this hotel room, TV on, tuned into the news. And it's another day here in paradise. Mass shootings, deportations, wildfires. Meanwhile, Mr. Make America Great is busy tweeting his worst and spreading more hate. While some of us are so poor they can't afford shoes on their feet, while some other sweet baby starves to death in their sleep. Can you see us? We are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. We are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Somewhere in 100 no-name towns are 1,000,000 lives being turned upside down. And you know this is the only home those kids have ever known. Refugees from wars and regimes being overthrown. Meanwhile, too many of these United States ignore the words Lady Liberty spake. Doors being kicked down in the dead of the night. No more sanctuary cities. How's that for religious right? Can you see us? We are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. We are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And if there's anyone out there who questions what America at its very best will feel like now, remember 66 million united in love, steadfastly indivisible across countless cities and towns. Oh, the bluest wave crashing from shore to shore. And all those hate has no home here. Signs on all those doors. We know who we are like we know how to breathe. Won't you sing it with me? Sing it with me, please. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Give me the wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send these the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Give me the wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send these the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. Oh, can you see us? We are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. And we are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Thanks. Thanks so much. Thanks, Joe.
Well, since you already invoked Emma Lazarus
That's
there,
it.
that begs for this next song.
Awesome.
Yeah. Emma Lazarus was resistant to writing that poem. She felt like the Statue of Liberty was just a large jingoistic monstrosity that bore no resemblance to the truth. Her family was Jewish and had been rejected several times before they were welcomed into this country, and she was angered at the hypocrisy. And there was a contest for who could write poetry that would be cast in brass and placed at the base of the Statue of Liberty. And all of her friends and family members said, Emma, you're an amazing poet. You have to write a poem about this. You, as an artist, can reframe how we see that other work of art. And she did, and she won the contest. And that's how her words ended up at the base of the Statue of Liberty for all to see, as long as it's there. And that inspired this song for me when I went to Ellis Island and looked up my granddad's name. He came over in 1914, Felix Kilbride. There's another side of my family that's been here since the early 1700s. But Felix came over in 1914, an intrepid 18-year-old with everything he owned in a single suitcase. And I think at 18 years old, I went off to music school, and it took two carloads full of stuff, both my parents, and there were residential assistants and people waiting to meet me, and I was still terrified. And this guy hopped on a ship with a suitcase at 18 and said, I don't know what's over there, but I hope it's better than where I am. And that is part of the dream, you know. And this song, it can't speak to everybody's experience. It doesn't speak to those who were here first, whose land and identity were stolen from them. It can't speak to those who were brought here against their will as enslaved peoples from other parts of the world, the ones that came here with no luggage at all. It can't speak to those who lived here for centuries, the ones that say we didn't cross the border crossed us. And what was once Mexico became the United States. Suddenly they were illegal. And I don't know how to write a song that speaks to all of those stories in one place. But I wanted to write the story of my people because the story of my people invites us to consider everybody else's story and to consider the ways in which we make assumptions about what is and isn't true without stopping to ask some of the most important questions. This is called Lady of the Harbor.
From far away in distant lands, the tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And so it was with my own kin. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, and their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children here. Shine on, shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Now we're locking down the border cleaned up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor.
And she welcomes them.
And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Oh you lady of the harbor.
Gosh, after that one, I wanted to sing a song called Time Machine, but it's really feisty. I don't usually write from a place of anger, but as you watched babies get put in cages, it was kind of the only way to write. Yeah, but I won't sing that one tonight. We'll save that one for another time. I want to sing this one. This was actually the last song to go on Changemakers because it didn't get written until after the election was officially called for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And despite what happened just a few short months after that particular day, in the District of Columbia, that was quite a beautiful day. DC is a lot like New York City. When people are blowing their horns, it's never for anything good. But on that particular day, it was amazing. People were so overjoyed that they were just like honking on their horns and like waving like crazy as we were walking through the streets to get down to the White House. And that particular drive from my neighborhood to the White House, that is a drive I have made many a time as a black butch-identified lesbian woman who calls America home. There's been an awful lot to protest down there, especially over the previous 4 years or so. But on this particular day, the drive down there looked markedly different than it had any other time. And it was so beautiful. There were so many American flags out in places where there had not been. And that's one of the really important takeaways for me from January 6th is so many people trying to kind of co-opt those colors to mean something that they don't mean. Those colors mean what they mean, and they don't get to change what that meaning is. And so this song is called Hope Revolution. And yeah.
I've seen so many flags flying high. Some were rainbow for pride, some were for saving black lives, and some were odes to the war long lost the last time hate tried to rise. But I haven't seen the red, white, and blue for a while. Yeah, I've seen so many flags flying high. Some were red, black, and green for celebrating Juneteenth. Some were signs of respect to the few proud and brave who keep us free. But I haven't seen the red, white, and blue lately. This country of mine hasn't felt much like itself. There's no wonder so many put Old Glory on the shelf until the promise of her colors was back within our reach. Then that star-spangled banner, she was lighting every street. It was a whole revolution. We the people and the future of our choosing. It was a love revelation. Justice for all, indivisible, one nation. These 4 years didn't feel like the last. The worst parts of our past, as if they brought them all back. Baby's cage, borders closed, our democracy under attack. Never thought I'd see the red, white, and blue do that. Oh, this country of mine hasn't felt much like itself. It's no wonder so many put Old Glory on the shelf until the promise of her colors was back within our reach. Then that star-spangled banner, she was lighting every street. And it was a whole revolution. We the people and the future of our choosing. It was a love revelation. Justice for all, indivisible, one nation. One nation. Oh, those colors aren't just pretty, they're pretty much who we are. Perseverance and justice, vigilance and valor. That's why we were dancing, not marching, as those dark clouds scattered. There was glass everywhere from all the ceilings being shattered. It was the first time in a long time that it felt like it mattered what those colors stood for and who those colors were for. It was a
Hope
revolution. We the people and the future of our choosing. It was a love revelation. Justice for all, justice for all, indivisible, one nation, one nation.
And all the insurrections in the world won't change that.
I've seen so many flags flying high. Hope the red, white, and blue stays a while.
Thanks so much. Thanks very much.
I was talking to Chris back in the green room before the show about my dad, who was a Korean War veteran. And it made me think of this song that I wrote many years ago. He died when I was 19. He was a Republican. He had 7 children. 6 out of 7 were pretty left of center out of the gate. And, you know, that other one kind of crossed over to the thinking side of things. And I think by the time I came along, he was just kind of scratching his head going, how did I end up with, you know, all of these young whippersnappers who are all a bunch of radicals in one form or another? And, you know, my mother was very much a stalwart feminist in her own way and in her own time, led a picket out in front of the library in my hometown when she moved there. She was not allowed to get a library card in her own name. They would give her children library cards in their names. But she had to have a card that said Mrs. Edward L. Jencks. And she told the woman, my name is Kathleen. And she said, well, okay, but, you know, we issue wives cards in the names of their husband. And she said, so what you're telling me is that my 6-year-old daughter has more rights because she gets a card in her name, but I have to have it in my husband's name. That's not right. She organized a picket of women with cardboard signs, and they picketed out in front of the library, I think, for all of 20 minutes before the library manager gave in and gave them all cards in their own names. You know, it might have been the shortest picket in history. It was great, but it's the kind of person she was, and I never quite understood, you know, why my dad was Republican. He had his reasons, and I wish he'd lived longer, so I could have asked him with an adult understanding of the world. But I sing this song because there were differences between us that I was still working on healing even after he passed. And there are differences between us in the world right now that we're going to keep working on figuring out how to reach through, reach across, because it's important that we do so. This morning, President Biden said this: "At this moment, we must decide what kind of nation we are going to be. Are we going to be a nation that accepts political violence as a norm? Are we going to be a nation where we allow partisan election officials to overturn the legally expressed will of the people? Are we going to be a nation that lives not by the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies?" We cannot allow ourselves to be that kind of nation. And that too made me think about my dad, because in spite of being a Republican, I know he would have voted for President Obama, and I think he would have stayed there. I think what he was fighting for when he grew up hearing stories of valor in World War II, and he volunteered for service in 1948, when he voted in an election to support General Eisenhower in becoming president. I think he had a different understanding of what being Republican meant than what it has become. So I think about him tonight on this anniversary, and I think about the conversations I might have with him if he were still here. It's called All the Pieces.
You were raised in the Depression, in the shadow of World War, when a patriotic man was not supposed to ask what for. Late in life you had a seventh child, an unexpected son, and I grew up to question everything and everyone. Now they're putting all the pieces back together, but it isn't quite the way it used to be. The walls are coming down, and every day it's getting better, and that means that there's still hope for you and me. You volunteered for service before the war began, Master Sergeant training other soldiers in Japan. Then they sent you boys to battle. You came home to take a wife and do your best to live life worthy of their sacrifice. Now they're putting all the pieces back together, though it isn't quite the way it used to be. Walls are coming down, and every day it's getting better, and that means that there's still hope for you and me. You were a loving and a dedicated husband. As a father you were patient and kind, but a piece of your humanity was shattered in Korea. Something sacred in your heart was left behind. Father, I was by your side when you took your last breath, though I was just 19 and you were only 62. The Korean War left scars upon your soul that touched us both. though the means to heal the hurt was seen from different points of view. Now they're putting all the pieces back together, though it isn't quite the way it used to be. The walls are coming down, and every day it's getting better, and that means that there's still hope for you and me. Now they're putting all the pieces back together, though it isn't quite the way it used to be. The walls are coming down, and every day it's getting better, and that means that there's still hope for you and me. The walls are coming down, and every day it's getting better, and that means that there's still hope for you and me.
Well, I think I want to sing a song now that's kind of, so much of what so many of those folks who stormed the Capitol, not all of them, but some of them, they felt so strongly like their voices weren't being heard, or that their concerns weren't being heard. And then, of course, others were there just because, they don't like anybody who's not a white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, male predominantly. But the thing that I hope so many people will eventually come to understand is how many of us are actually trying to make this country and the world, but especially this country, better for people whose lived experiences are very different from our own. And if more people can realize that, if more people can find that shared humanity and trust that shared humanity and not the rest of it that seems to get to become so nefarious, maybe we'll be able to actually do something positive. I want to sing a song that I wrote after driving up from the southern part of Virginia. I passed this car on the road that had a bumper sticker on the back of it that said, "Shoot your local heroin dealer." And it stopped me in my track. I guess it hit me differently than it might have hit others. I read that and thought, man, what must their story be? That's the thing that they wanted to put on their bumper sticker. It's like, my kid's an A honor roll student. I voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Like, that kind of thing. But for that to be the thing that went on their bumper, I wondered what their story must have been. And so I went home and wrote this song. This is called "This Kind of War."
He's got a hole in his heart where his daughter used to be. And another one for the neighbor down the street. It's a war zone from the pulpit to the bleachers. Students and teachers drowning. His sweet little mining town is crumbling down around him. He was a simple kind of man, never thought this would be his life. They say misery loves company, but then the heartbreak claimed his wife. And this is one fight he can't win with an enemy he can't see. He's just another walking casualty of an overdose tragedy. He said, yeah, I used to be like you. Now I'm like the sticker out of my rear view. It says, shoot your local heroin dealer, that low-down murdering dream stealer. 'Cause the bodies just keep piling up. How much longer till you've seen enough? No matter what you do, oh, this kind of war will claim you if it wants to. It said first, do no harm on the doctor's office wall. So even when the pills felt like overkill, she watched her husband take them all. It's a gateway to a kingdom where the promise is no more pain. It'll cost them all they have. What they'll lose can't be regained. She lets her hands hide her face as they take her love away. He's just another one of the 20-some whose demons won that day. And this is one fight she can't win with an enemy she can't see. She's just another walking casualty of an overdose tragedy. She said, yeah, I used to be like you. Now I'm like the sticker out of my rear view. But it's not just the heroin dealer. The pills do more harm than needles, and the bodies just keep piling up. How much longer till you've seen enough? No matter who you are, oh, this kind of war is bound to leave some scars. There's a ruptured generation in the hills of West Virginia, and a broken-hearted mayor in Nashville, Tennessee. The revenants in Portland and Tacoma are falling where they stand. This war is like a hurricane, it's already claimed the Northwest, the Rust Belt, and the Heartland. And yeah, they used to be like you, and what they seen would change you too. It's not just the heroin dealers' prescriptions do more harm than needles, and the bodies just keep piling up. How much longer till enough's enough? No matter what you tried before, you can't just say no to this war.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
I wrote this song during Voldemort's presidency. I thought that it would lose relevance, but sadly it continues to feel pretty germane. It's called I Lie.
I lie to keep things simple, and I lie to keep it plain. For those who cannot understand, I lie to ease their pain. I lie about my riches, and I lie about my rage. I lie about the ladies, and I lie about their age. I lie to cover up my lies. I lie to speak the truth. I lie to men and women, to the elderly and youth. I lie to make a deal, and I lie to get back out. I'm lying when I'm silent, lying harder when I shout. I lie, oh yes, I lie. Lie to business leaders, lie to heads of state. I lie to business leaders, and I lie to heads of state. I lie to politicians and those military brats. I lie to raise the numbers in the polls about my day. I lie about the Russians because someone's got to pay. I lie to cover up my tracks. I lie to hide my past. I lie to keep them guessing, and I do it real fast. I lie when it's convenient, and I lie because I'm shy. Well, it's the bet I made, and so it's here I'm gonna lie. I lie. Oh, yes, I lie.
That's the plucky sing-along part.
I lie to little countries and I lie to little kids. I lie to crack things open while I'm putting on the lid. I lie right to a soldier's face. I lie about the war. But it won't make a difference, doesn't bother me at all. I lie to all the lawyers and the judges in the courts. I lie to the reporters 'cause they lie in their reports. I lie to my own children 'cause if no one knows the score, I can lie to anyone I choose and show them out the door. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie about the shooters and I lie about the guns. I lie for recreation, hell, I'm lying just for fun. I lie about the terrorists, I lie to get more praise. Lie about the cover-ups, been lying all my days. I lie about the presidents and global heads of state. I lie about my outrage 'cause you people take the bait. I lie on social media, I lie to pick a fight. And if you don't believe me, I'll just lie and say you're right. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie about my prowess in every way I can. I lie about how great I am, I lie about my tan. I lie about the darkness while I'm turning out the lights. I ponder what new lies to tell when I can't sleep at night. I lie and say I'm sorry when I feel no remorse. I lie to keep things steady and I lie to change the course. Well, it's the horse that I rode in on and it's making all the news. Well, I'm the world's biggest liar, but I'm telling you the truth.
Well, where to go after that? I wrote a song about He Who Shall Not Be Named, pretty much right after the election. But it's been so long since I've allowed him to hold space in my brain. There's a lyric in the bridge that I have, for the life of me, cannot remember. So
I stumbled that one, and I'm glad that it's been long enough since I've sung that song that I stumbled on it a little bit. That was
such a good feeling.
It was very nice to have almost an entire year of our mental process sovereign from the incessant tweet.
It's amazing. I was like, I've been trying since we sat down to try to remember that lyric, and I cannot, for the life of me, recall it. And
well,
I'm
fantastic.
Like, I feel I'm going to take that as a win. That's really great.
Well, this will become like I won't say it because of where we are, but the Scottish play. As we are in a theater of sorts, I daren't say the name, but yes, this will be referred to at some point by various euphemisms. But here we are.
I'm gonna sing a little hopeful number, just because I feel like that's the only thing keeping me sane. That and my dog. This is called "The Only Way Out." This is a song that was inspired by that beautiful Robert Frost quote. that says the only way out is through. And it is a sing-along, but it's, in true singer-songwriter fashion, it's very verbose, the chorus. I got to work on that. I'm trying to take some notes from Joe. Just get in and get out. Don't make them learn a whole thesis. Just get in and get out. I'm trying to learn that and work on that. But I will say it is very therapeutic to kind of sing this song, especially when you've had a bit of a trying time. And the past 2 years especially, but this past year has been definitely a trying time. So I have been finding a good bit of solace in this song for myself. And so, you know what? I'm just going to teach it to you just in case you feel, as we say down south, in case you're feeling spry and just want to sing it. So it says it's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through. And so the melody goes like this. It's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through. Oh. So it's not too hard. I feel like you all in this room, I feel like we have friendship, and let's try it. We'll do a little back and forth to lock it in nice and tight. This is the former band director in me. So we'll do that in tempo. So we'll try it and see how it goes. It's only life.
It's only life.
The yin and yang.
The yin and yang.
The ups and downs, the joy, the pain.
The ups and downs, the joy, the pain.
It goes on with or without you.
It goes on without you.
And the only way out.
And the only way out
is through. Oh,
it's through. Oh.
Yes, I feel good about that. All right, let's try it. It's raining while the sun is shining on. You're laughing while you're crying all alone. Choices can make your hands feel like they're tied. Failures can make you wish you never tried. You're dreaming every minute you're awake, or suffocating with every breath you take. There's beauty in the ugliest of times, so be hopeful when things go wrong, and in the end you'll find it's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through. Oh. A moment can seem more like forever. You're running around but getting nowhere. The smallest things can feel larger than life. Silence can be deafening at times. You're flying with your feet on solid ground, or dying with your lifelines all around. Some kindnesses can feel so very cruel, but carry on when you don't want to. I promise this is true. It's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through. Oh. Why do those who wander never seem that lost? Why do the richest among us complain the most about the cost? How is it some convince themselves that only war will bring us peace? How is it those who say the most need to speak the least? It's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through.
So keep on pushing your way through. Keep on climbing your way through. Keep on crawling, keep on clawing, keep on scraping, just as long as you're making your way through. It's only life, the yin and yang, the ups and downs, the joy, the pain. It goes on with or without you, and the only way out is through.
Thank you for that. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
That applies to insurrections as well. You know, we'll get through this. We will get through this.
Amen. I'm going to play a new song for you. Brand new. It's about friendship. And it's about how much I've missed hanging out with Chris and a bunch of colleagues like Chris, friends. It's how much I've missed hanging out with all of you. And as we slowly get back into touring again and doing the things that we do, I'm so keenly aware of how much I had missed you. And this is a song that just fell out of the heavens and into my consciousness Thanksgiving weekend as my song of gratitude for so many people all over the place that have been with me on the journey and with whom I have shared the journey. It's called Unexpected Graces.
Across the years, across the miles, through the victories and the trials, you were there. You were there. In the time when I was broken, when my compass was not true, searching in the darkness, unsure what to do, you were there. You were there. Now I see you once again, my fair and foul weather friend. And I remember all that. So we talk and tell our stories, tales of losses and of glories. We were there, we were there. Season after season, like a warm and gentle breeze, we renew each other's vision of the world as it can be. We were there, we were there. Now I see you once again, my fair and foul weather friends. And I remember all that we share. We were there, we were there. Some years have been kind to us and others have been cruel. Sometimes the prankster and other times the fool. From different points of view, we hail from different places, but the beauty of true friendship is in the unexpected graces. Hands that reach across the distance, joined in music and persistence. We were there, we'll be there. Though we cherish time together, now our pathways are apart, with a kinship measured not by time or space, but by the heart. We were there, we'll be there. Till I see you once again. My fair and foul weather friends, I will remember all that we share. Will be there, will be there, till I see you once again. My fair and foul weather friends, I will remember all that we share. Will be there, will be there. May we remember all that we share. Will be there, will be there. May we remember all that we share. Will be there, will be there.
For those of you joining us online tonight, we've been pretty shy on the pitches, but I do feel very much obliged to say that Caffe Lena keeps its doors open, especially during the pandemic, because of your generosity. You can't see it, but there's only a fraction of what would normally be here in terms of audience because of the pandemic. And as a result of that, we rely on your generosity. So please, there are payment links listed for Caffe Lena. And please make a contribution. There was a suggested donation for this show that was freakishly low. So please consider yourself as that like not being what we're asking. We're asking you to make a voluntary ticket assessment as if you were actually here in the room. More if you can. Your generosity. Think about what you would have spent on a meal going out. Think about what you would have spent in travel to get here this evening. Add that up in your head and ask yourself what this evening is worth to you in keeping the doors open for a place like Caffe Lena. This is an extraordinary institution with a deep and rich history and a whole team of people that have remained employed even through the pandemic as a result of the hard work of Sarah Craig and the board of directors and the staff here, Carolyn and Joe and Joel and Reese, and everybody here has been working very hard. And so we ask you to be generous, not just for our sakes, but for the sake of the entire community that revolves around Caffe Lena as a hub. And we thank you for that generosity.
All right. Well, I think I want to sing a little song for you now. That's one I don't get to sing very, very often, off of Changemakers. And this is called For the Women with Steel in Their Bones. And I wrote this song for Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. If I had $1 for every boys will be boys, I would buy some way to alter this madness and quiet this noise. For the women with steel in their bones, the ones with titanium skin, I see you, I hear and believe you. May the truth win out in the end. And she could well be your daughter, your wife, your sister, your friend. May all little boys become much better men who respect and believe in women. If I could turn back time for every woman and for every girl, I would change all of their minds about the things we accept from this world. To the women whispering me too, and the ones with titanium skin, I see you,
I hear and believe you. May the truth win out in the end. And she could well be your daughter, your wife, your sister, your friend. May all little boys become much better men who respect and believe women. To all of you men and women with sons of your own, what and how you teach them the things you accidentally condone will shape who it is they become. The next 2 generations of men, when they see us, when they hear and believe us, the truth wins out in the end. And she could well be your daughter, your wife, your sister, your friend. May all little boys become much better men who respect and believe in women. May all little boys become much better men who respect and believe in women.
Thanks very much.
Amen to that. I have 3 older sisters who served a pretty big role in my life in raising that young person to hopefully be what you sing about in that song. One of my artistic big sisters is Holly Neer, and she has written some amazing songs over the years, and this song has gotten me through the pandemic. It's called I Am Willing. It's one of my favorite songs of hers, but it took on new meaning for me during the pandemic. And it became a mantra that I would sing. And in the wake of every new bit of political strife or struggle, in the wake of every unbelievable human indignity, in the wake of every shooting, in the wake of every person who was unjustly killed without being asked reasonable questions, in the wake of all of the heartbreak, I would pick up an instrument and sing this song over and over and over again as my mantra for the time.
I am open and I am willing to be hopeless, which seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family. There is sorrow in my town. There is panic in the nation. There is wailing the whole world round. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless, which seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly. May the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless, which seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the night of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless, which seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I am open, I am open, and I am willing to be hopeless, which seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think what I'll do, the last song that I want to sing for you is one that I wrote after Congressman John Lewis passed away. And the legacy that he left for so many of us, to have endured everything that he endured in the quest for justice, in the quest for a more perfect union, and to still, to his last breath, remain so hopeful for what this country could be. It's just absolutely awe-inspiring. And I wanted to honor that legacy, because the thing that he did so beautifully was not just to call out injustice, but to then do that next step that is so very hard for so many of us, and to then call in, to then try to actively broaden that tent. Because if there were enough of us in this fight already, we would not have a fight. But we are still fighting for justice in this country, so we need more of us. This song is called Call Them In.
The battle lines are drawn, and once again, somebody's saying, wait, be patient. If they knew how long it would be before all people could truly hear freedom ring, I wonder which end of that moral arc would they choose. I wonder if more would have walked in his shoes. This is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to get in the way. Speak up, speak out every day. Freedom riders or letter writers, do what you can, just shine your light brighter. Somebody called him a saint among men, a founding father an icon, a legend. Ordinary people with such extraordinary vision in a country so young, hard pressed on every single side, but not crushed, saying, in God, love, and justice we trust. This is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to win your way. Speak up, speak out every day. Freedom riders, letter riders, do what you can, just shine your light brighter. Make a trouble every chance you get. Eyes on the prize, we're not finished yet. Don't tolerate injustice, my friends. Call them out, but then call them in. If you see something that's not right, not fair, stand up and say we can do better. He said, I may not be with you when we reach the other side, so let the power of love everlasting be your guide. 'Cause this is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. This is what revolution looks like. Get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to get your way. Speak up, speak out every day. Freedom riders, letter riders, do what you can to shine your light brighter. Make a trouble every chance you get. Eyes on the prize, we're not finished yet. Don't tolerate injustice, my friends. Call them out, but then call them in, call them in. Find a way to get in the way. Speak up, speak out every day. Make a trouble every chance you get. Make a trouble every chance you get. Make a trouble every chance you get.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Joe. Woo. Thanks, everybody.
Just a couple more words that were spoken a year ago this evening, right about this time of night, by Senator Mitt Romney. In light of today's sad circumstances, I ask my colleagues, do we weigh our own political fortunes more heavily than we weigh the strength of our republic, the strength of our democracy, and the cause of freedom? What is the weight of personal acclaim compared to the weight of conscience? The last time Chris and I saw each other in person before the pandemic, before, the zombie apocalypse, was at the Folk Alliance Conference in New Orleans in January of 2020, and we were both involved in a program presented by the Library of Congress Folk Archives called the Archive Challenge. And artists are invited to dive deep into the archives and resurrect material and begin to share it again with the world. And this is a song that I sang, and Chris told me that she was singing it with me when she was out in the house listening. I was singing with her when she was doing her thing, but I thought maybe we'd sing it together tonight. It's a song that comes out of a recording that was made in 1939 in the Rayford Prison in Florida. John A. Lomax and his wife Ruby Tiro Lomax were down there. And their goal was really to capture the stories that were not being told. There was a deep recognition on their part that there was immense injustice in the world and in the correctional system. That's a very euphemistic word. In the prison system, flat out, that there was radical injustice. And they thought by recording these songs and sharing them with the world, that it would make a difference. And I think they had hoped that it would make a difference, like, pretty immediately. But the fact of the matter is it has continued to make a difference because these stories and these songs and the lives of the people that sung these songs have continued to be told as a result of their work. And so our commission to you this evening, if I may be so bold as to speak for Chris as well, is to say that there is much work to do, but all of us have a place in doing that work. And this is a song of defiance and a song of hope, a song of resistance and a song of belief in a better world. And we each have a little bit of responsibility in making that world come to fruition. And I would like to thank Chris for driving all the way up here from Washington, D.C. to be with us this evening. Please give it up
Honor
for
and a
her.
privilege, an absolute honor. Thank you, Joe.
Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. And if he asked you, was I running? If he asked you, was I running? And if he asked you, was I running? Tell them I was flying, Lord, tell them I was flying. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. For the likes of man, for the likes of man. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. But it won't kill me, no, it won't kill me. This old hammer shines like silver. This old hammer shines like silver. This old hammer shines like silver. But it rings like gold, Lord, it rings like gold. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. 'Cause it wounds my soul, Lord, it wounds my soul. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Don't you let me drown, don't you let me drown. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone.
Joe Jencks, everybody.
Chris Matthews. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Thanks to Caffe, Lena. Thanks to all the staff here. Joe on sound, Joel running tech in the back room, Carolyn, Reese, Sarah Craig, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining us online. Please support Caffe Lena, and thanks for being with us this evening.
Stay safe out there, everybody.